Hello my queens, it's Dana Persia. Welcome back to my channel. This is where you get the real deal on real beauty. Today we're going to talk brushes. Yes, so I have all of my personal brushes here that I use. Yes, I have 3 jars of them, but I've had some requests to do a video on what brushes to use, how to use them, when to use them, and what products to use with them. This is my personal brush set. I have another brush set for my pro kit, but these are the brushes I use every day. One of the things you should do first is organize your brushes. I really find that if you have, your big fluffy powder brushes in one jar, that's a good idea. I actually have 2 of those types of jars for those brushes. You can use all kinds of different things. This was a cute little brush container that I found at Tuesday Morning. This was a candle holder that I cleaned out. I just love the color. And I believe this was a candle holder as well. You can DIY your own brush holders. You don't have to spend any money. Use something at home. A mug that you love with a slogan on it. Antique glasses that you find at a vintage store. Anything. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go from start to finish on the brushes I use as I do my makeup. The first brush that I use is always a concealer brush because that's what I put on first. And I have a couple of concealer brushes that I really love. So these 2, and I'm going to put in the description where you can get the brushes that I'm talking about and what they're called, by Sonia Kashuk. I'm not sure if I'm saying her name, so I apologize if I'm not saying it correctly. These are really lovely concealer brushes. They're concealer buffing brushes, and that's why I love them. I'll show you how I use them. They're both excellent for, just kind of spreading the concealer around. This one's more of a flat brush, and this one has more of an angle, which I really like. I love this brush, and so these are great. Kind of before you put your foundation on. So those are concealer brushes that are my favorite. And then my next step is, when I'm wearing foundation, is foundation. And I use 2 different types of foundation. In the warmer months, I'll use a powder foundation because I feel like a liquid foundation can be a little heavy. So for my powder foundations, I use one of the buffing brushes, and this has like different levels on it. And yeah, this is by It Cosmetics, and is their Heavenly Skin line full coverage foundation. This, if you can see the bristles, it has different levels and it's really soft. My brushes need cleaning. I don't clean my personal brushes as much as I do my professional brushes because it's just my face, but I do them about once a month. And in between I clean with alcohol. This is also a powder foundation brush. This is by It Cosmetics. This has a little slant to it. It Cosmetics has amazing brushes, so I'm going to put some links in the description to where you can get them. They have sales all the time. You can get them on QVC. So this is another one I use for powder. Again, you could use this for liquid as well. Those are the 2 major foundation brushes I use for my powder. Sometimes if I really just want a light coat of powder foundation, I'll use more of a fluffier brush and one that's not so densely packed, because you get like a lighter application. So that's good. So let's talk. I would probably contour next. No, what I would do is, if I was wearing a liquid foundation, I would put powder on. So let me show you the brushes I have that I use for liquid foundation. I showed you the powder foundation. So if I have a couple of options. So right now I'm really loving this by Bdellium. I told you about Bdellium brushes on Camera Ready Cosmetics. There's the website, and again, I am an affiliate for Camera Ready Cosmetics, but I swear by them. And this is $9.49, and I love it because it just gets in all of your little creases. And you could even bring it up under the eyes. So it's really, really nice for foundation. So this is good for wet foundation. This is also good for contour because of the way that it's shaped. So you just decide what you want to use it for. So this I got from Philosophy a long time ago. This is a wet foundation brush. It's wonderful. You just dip it in and you just kind of spread. I don't like anything enormous to put my liquid foundation on. I like things that I can really kind of get into my grooves and any fine lines and wrinkles I might have at this point in my life. What I also love about this brush is it has this little scooper on the end of it. So if you are mixing on your palette, this is a good thing to use it for. Or if you have one of those jar foundations, you can dip in and kind of mix, and then you can sanitize this. It does stain a little, but you can sanitize these. So this is a nice brush by Philosophy. Let's see, these are great. These are just, you know, the original kind of flat foundation brushes, synthetic hairs, because these are easier to maintain when you're doing liquid foundation or cream foundation. These are all synthetic hairs, I believe. This one might not be. So these are great for liquid foundation. I also recently discovered this cute little sponge. So it's almost like a beauty blender. It's called a teardrop blending sponge. And I love this too, because you can just sort of, you know, if you like the effect of a beauty blender, which I have those too, we all know what those look like. You can use beauty blenders, of course, to apply your concealer and to apply your foundation. But I like this too. I thought this was really cute. I think that's it for foundation. So now I would go in and probably, after I did the liquid foundation, I would do a light dusting of powder. And you can always use like a fluffy brush for your light dusting of powder just to set your makeup. I also like to set my under eyes with, I believe I talked about these in a prior video. These are really great brushes. One's by Sonia and the other one is by Ulta Beauty. And these are also concealer buffing, but you use powder with these because they're more of a dry brush. So like these are great for really blending that under more for blending powder, and you want to keep them separate, because if you start using the same brushes for powder and liquid products, they're just going to get all funky and messed up, and you're going to have to wash them a lot more often. So keep your powder brushes for powder. So like these are great for really blending that under eye area. I really love these. Get yourself some of these. These are different than your under eye concealer brush. These are, and keep your liquid brushes for liquid. That is definitely one pro tip I can offer you. So at this point, I would have my makeup set with a little powder. I would have set my under eyes, and I might want to contour a little bit. So this is another Bdellium brush that I love. This is 944, and this is a nice little contouring brush because it has that tip that's, you know, it's kind of wedged or contoured itself to a point. So those are nice. That's a good one. Another contouring brush I have is, you can also, this is a flat, just a flat contour brush. It's a little wedge type of thing, and it's very densely packed, which is nice. So this is good for contouring as well. Anything that has that flat top is good for contouring, or of course, what I just mentioned, one that actually has this little pointy tip on it. So those are contouring. And then I probably would do some blush. Before I even do my bronzer, I would do blush. So these are all blush brushes that I use. They're a little bit more, you know, fluffy, and they're not very big, they're not very wide. They're really good for just getting your blush on, you know, high up there, maybe the apples of your cheeks. So these are good for blush, again, dry products. Next, I would probably do a little bit of bronzer. So for bronzer, I do like Kabuki brushes. So these are two different ones in different sizes. One is by Laura Geller, and this one, I don't even know who this is by, but these are good for bronzing because you sort of really kind of get in those areas where the sun hits, and keep these separate because they do have bronzer on them, and you know, you may not want to bronze that day, and so you want to keep those separate from any brushes that you may have. The next step for me is highlighter, little fluffy brush. Even this one is really nice. They're just really, you can target with the highlighter. So as you can see, I have highlighter on today. And that's how I apply it right on that, above that cheekbone line. And I might put a little on my nose and above my. The next step we're going to talk about is eyes. I would put some primer on my eyes, and I sometimes use my fingers, but I like to use any of these synthetic kind of wet brushes, anything that looks like, I like to use these sort of, you know, this has a little bit of contour to it. I believe these came in like a really inexpensive kit from Amazon that was like $20, but for your synthetic brushes, you don't have to spend $50 for a primer brush. So these are great, you know, to put your primer on. These are also good for your under eye concealer. So again, you can really get under there. I'm into the buffing brushes right now. That's what I'm using. So those are good for getting your eye primer on. And then you want to do eyeshadow. So you want to have a lot of different eyeshadow brushes. I usually start with this brush. It is a fluffy brush, and I use this to get into the corner when I do my lighter color. And I also use it for a little bit of a highlighter. And then when I want to do detail work, I'll use something like this, has a little bit of a slant to it. And I will use that for the corners. So you want to have a couple of different size brushes. It's so funny, makeup artists usually have like all their old brushes. They take over whatever they don't use on their clients anymore, and I am like that as well. I have all kinds of old mangled brushes, but they still work for me. So, you know, I can go on. I have so many eye shadow brushes. This is a nice one. Anything for the corner, you want to go small. Anything for like maybe applying your highlighter or maybe going in with a third color, you want to do a fluffy brush. Now, I am not going to get technical with you because there are a lot of YouTubers out there giving you every number and every name of every brush. I just want to show you what I have and what I use. Hopefully, maybe you'll take some notes and you know, you can ask me some questions if you don't understand things that I said, but you know, I don't think knowing every single specific number or particular about a brush is actually helpful. I think you can get really confused. So I'm just trying to give you some guidance, real easy, real simple, you know, nothing crazy. So definitely you want to have 5 or 6 eyeshadow brushes, and literally you can go to the store anywhere. So Sephora, Ulta, MAC, the people there will help you out. All the people working at those stores are very knowledgeable. Also, if you go to Target or any drugstores, the brushes actually have names on them of how to use them. If you buy, I love e.l.f. brushes. They're not the most expensive, but I love them. They have names on the sides of them. They tell you exactly how to use them. So that's actually helpful. When I was doing my brows, now I have my eyebrows filled. Definitely take a look at that video. It's a microblading video. The whole process that I went through, I videotaped it. But when I did have my when I did fill in my brows, I would use a slanted brush, something like this, not too fat, and I would use that to fill in my brows. So a nice slanted angled brush. And if you want to learn how to fill in your brows, there's another video I did regarding brows, and there's the link for it. So you'll like that. Let's talk winged eyeliner, because a lot of times I get questions about how to do a winged eyeliner. And again, I did a video on that as well, so that will help you out. But as far as brushes, where is my angled brush? So almost like the same brushes you would use for your eyebrows, you can use for a wing liner. You may want to get one that's a slightly bit thinner, like this one, to do a nice solid wing. You dip it in the product, whether it's a gel liner. Some liquid liners come with their own applicators, which are nice if you're doing it yourself. But if you want a brush, you definitely want either a slanted brush, or let's see, where is my brush? I might just have to put a picture of it up there for you. Oh, wait a minute, here it is. It's another little cute little container that I found. I don't even know where I got it, but I thought it was so cute. Oh, it's one of these eyeliner brushes. It's a thin, very thin brush that doesn't have an angle on it, and you can really get in there and do your line. So a slanted eyeliner brush or one of these small, tiny, detailed eyeliner brushes. They're great for doing a wing liner. That's pretty much it. The only other brushes I have are sort of for grooming your eyebrows. So, you know, you've seen this. It looks like a toothbrush with a comb on the other side. You can groom your eyebrows with that. I have one of those. I also have one of these spoolies, which is just, you know, like a mascara brush, but you can tame your eyebrows. You can also separate your eyelashes. That's, oh, lip brushes, of course. I don't even use one. I just, you know, on myself, I might use this little lip brush. You can use the retractable ones. Those are nice, but you always want to have, this one's a little mangled as well. It had seen many lips in its day, but this is like a little triangle. I don't know if you can see that. And this is used for putting your lipstick on. And again, this is from Bdellium. This is a good brush for lips if you just want a professional lip brush. You can also, I don't know if you've ever heard this before, but you can also go to the art store and get certain brushes, especially your wet brushes, meaning the ones that have more synthetic fibers, like this one. You might be able to find brushes at an art store for like a fraction, but you really have to take a look and make sure that they're what you need. I don't buy my brushes at art stores, but I know a lot of makeup artists do. There's certain brushes you can buy. So check out the art store. You might get a deal. That's pretty much it. I really don't use any other brushes. And of course, with my Pro Kit, I've got hundreds and hundreds of brushes, especially now with COVID. You know, you have to make sure you have a separate brush bag with every type of brush that you need for each client. So there's a lot of extra cleaning and a lot of extra, you know, process going on. So to keep everyone safe. The other thing I wanted to say is I recently bought this brush cleaner. It's an automatic brush cleaner that I saw. I've been seeing it. I'm sure you've all seen it. And one thing I hate doing is cleaning my brushes, but it is a necessary. You have to clean your brushes, and I normally use just soap or an antibacterial dish soap with a little bit of shampoo, and I use I rub them on a glove. And here's another little short video. There was the very first video I did that shows you how I clean my brushes manually, but I have this machine that I haven't even taken out of the box yet. So I want to use it. I want to see how it works, and then I want to bring video to you showing you how to use it and where to buy it and what it costs. Your comments if you found this helpful, or you need more detail, or you really want to know, actually see me using every single brush for every step. Now I have done that throughout my videos, but I just wanted to sit here and talk brushes. Okay, well, that's it for today. Remember to subscribe and ring that bell. I launch videos every Friday, so hopefully you'll come back. Bye, my queens.